Where is the first stop?
The first stop is in the plains.
Plains?
The plains. It's called the plains.
Oh, nice. What's that? What's the place?
It used to be a long, long time ago a settlement, like a Native American settlement.
Oh.
Like ceremonial site, religious site, whatever.
اولین استاپمون یه جایی به اسم پلینز، جایی که واسه سرخ پوستا بوده. خب این چیزی که اینجا هست، اینجوری که من متوجه شدم، این یه جور مثل اهرام مصر، ولی حالا این نه، این که اهرام مصر نیست، ولی همچین استراکچری داره، همچین ساختاری داره که زیرش یه جور مقبره است.
Yeah, I think it's like very much a part of this neighborhood at this point. People mow it, you know, and maintain it, and they like steward it, which is cool, I guess.
As long as it's like the intention is to preserve.
I think it is, and this mound has never been excavated.
Yeah.
So it's still
Okay,
a burial
so
site.
it was my question. So they haven't got into this mound, but they got to other ones similar to this.
So if you look, this is a list of sites just in the plains where there were mounds and earthworks.
Oh, so
there were over 30.
Not anymore.
Not really. I mean, there's still you can still kind of see remnants of some of them, like the one that we saw down there.
The smaller one.
Yeah, but that has been plowed over for generations, and that's why it's so much smaller now.
Got you. When they start to farm, they realize the skeleton and everything. Yeah.
I think people knew pretty immediately white people knew when they got here that you know, there were people here before them, and there were people here before those people, and those are those people, right? And they just didn't have a lot of respect for Native people, and
like they were giants, right? Like
the Adena people were, yes.
Adena people were.
Adena, yeah. And then even the name Adena is just the name of the property, the white property owner, where they discovered their culture, where they excavated or whatever and discovered their culture. This is called the Hartman Mound because mound owned by the Hartman family. So, you know, it's weird.
Yeah.
It's not necessary. Like, this is a cultural site and it should be owned by like the, you know, the descendants of the culture, whose like people are buried underneath it. The skeletons that they took out of these mounds, some of them were between 7 and 9 feet tall.
Wow. Okay.
So yeah, they were real big people.
Really big people.
Yep. So there's a couple of theories about where the skeletons went. Some people think that the Smithsonian has all of the giant skeletons.
But it's not in public, huh?
Not really, no. I think there's a couple left that you can go and request to see at like county museums and archives and stuff like that. But no.
Why do you think it's not public?
That's a great question. And if you read this, it says, Mr. Andrew discovered an almost complete skeleton, 500 rolled copper beads, 50 thick shells, da-da-da-da-da. It doesn't say anything about the size of the skeleton.
Yeah.
Right? If you go back at the time that people were unearthing these skeletons and you read the newspaper articles from those times, you can see the pictures. You can see people standing next to the skeletons, and you know, they're 7 and 8 foot tall skeletons. Okay. And it's mentioned in those times.
But not anymore.
Not anymore. It's been erased for some reason. I'm not sure why. I don't know what the deal is or why you would even do that. You know, like what's the motive? What's the conspiracy theory there behind, like basically erasing that history?
Interesting.
So, yeah.
پس این ادینا آدمای خیلی بزرگی بودن تا 7-8 فیت قدشون بوده وقتی که اسکلتشون رو پیدا کردن. تو روزنامه های اون موقع هم میگه آوردن، اگه بری تو روزنامه ها نگاه کنی، ولی بعد از اون دیگه هیچ حرفی در موردش زده نمیشه. تو موزه هم نیست، فقط یکی از موزه ها داره که اونا باید حتما جداگانه درخواست کنی.
Stuff on the ground. They wrote it off of the stone itself.
همه این شنا هم که اینجاست از این صخره‌ها ریخته. اینجا یه اقامتگاه بوده برای یه سری بومیای سرخپوست زمستونا اینجا زندگی میکردن. تو بهار و تابستون برمیگشتن میرفتن تو زمینه کشاورزی. خب برگشتیم تو پارکینگ و مارجری اینجا سالاد درست کرده حسابی، یه پیکنیک کوچیک داریم و بعدش میریم سراغ استاپ بعدی، توقف بعدی. What is this?
This is the iron furnace. So they made iron ore here.
There was a man who fell in here and died.
Yeah, it's like a giant furnace basically. They melted down metal here during the Civil War.
Okay.
To make guns?
Yes. And ammunition.
اینجا آهن ذوب میکردن و تو جنگ داخلی اینجا چیکار میکردن؟ اسلحه درست میکردن، حالا سلاح جنگی درست میکردن اینجا. 1854 تا 1874. فکر نکنم فقط برای سلاح و دوره جنگ داخلی بوده، اینجور که معلومه کلن آهن اینجا درست میکردن. حالا اینجا یه منطقه‌ای بوده، یه فازی بوده واسه تولید آهن، خاطر اون موادی که پیدا میشده. کلا نوشته اینجا یکی از مناطق مهمی بوده واسه تولید آهن تو دوره انقلاب صنعتی. خیلی از آهنی که استفاده کردن تو اون دوران از آهن تولید شده اینجا استفاده کردن. این آهنی که اینجا تولید شده واسه خط آهن استفاده کردن، واسه ساختمون سازی، واسه همه چیز تو کلا تو اوهایو.
Graded, elevated way. They've been talking about paving it and making it into a bike trail.
Okay, behind this tunnel is Moonville.
Yes,
and a lot of people, they wanted to go to the other city. They didn't have any other way unless walking on the railroad.
Yep.
Okay.
What they used to do is they built these shacks. And they would just be on the, they wouldn't be here per se, but they would be like on the side out there. These rickety old shacks, and that's what they lived in because they knew that this was not going to be around for much longer because they were just mining everything.
Okay, what kind of people they were living here? White, black,
Miners,
White people.
trains.
white people?
Yep.
So why they were living here?
Because they came here to take the coal.
Oh, okay.
Literally, they were miners. They moved around where the jobs were, right?
Uh-huh.
They were here late 1800s through the 1900s.
1800 to 1900?
Yeah, like mid to late 1800s, all the way up through around the Depression. Actually, is when a lot of these communities that used to be out here finally disappeared. That was the last gasp. There were a couple of like plagues, basically. There was smallpox. There was tuberculosis. There was the Spanish flu, and there were a couple of other pandemics that hit that just like killed off most of the people that were living in these little communities. And they had cut all the trees down, and they had taken all of the coal, and so there wasn't anything left for them to take. There weren't any more jobs.
Right.
So they eventually disappeared.
Got you. So where we are walking now, a lot of people die.
Between here, where we are, and Moonville.
Moonville?
And then between Moonville and Athens, even more people die.
Really?
Yeah.
Is there anything now, like in Moonville?
There is like, there are a couple old foundations that you can see.
Have you been?
I haven't been all the way back there, no. I want to go someday.
How far it is from here?
It's about 5 miles.
خب این چیزی که من متوجه شدم اینجا ریل قطار بود. بعد از این تونل یه شهری هست یا یه روستایی هست به اسم مونویل و یه گروهی از معدن‌دارا که اینجا بودن زغال سنگ استخراج میکردن تو این مونویل زندگی میکرد. تنها راه دسترسیشون به شهر دیگه این بوده که از روی این ریل قطار راه برسن به شهر دیگه. راه دیگه ای وجود نداشته واسه شون، یا اینکه مثلا از تو جنگل ها میرفتن و اینا، حالا به هر دلایلی نمیرفتن، به خاطر که این راه این مسیر هموارتری بوده و به شهر بعدی میرسونده توشون. خاطر همین خیلی آدم تو این مسیر کشته شده، خاطر اینکه حالا یا شب بوده داشتن راه میرفتن قطار اومده رد میشده، یا اینکه مثلا تو راه برگشت تو به مونویل به خونهشون بودن، مست بودن، میافتادن خوابشون میبرده رو ریل، قطار رد میشده. حالا به هر دلیلی این گروه هم اینجا زندگی میکردن تا دیپرشن و بعد از اونم که زغال سنگ اینجا اصلا منابع زغال سنگ تمام میشه و دیگه چیز دیگه نبوده، کلا این گروه از اینجا، این گروه آدمایی که اینجا زندگی میکردن از اینجا میرن و ظاهرا 5 مایل از اینجا فاصله داره و تنها رسیدن بهش هم همین پیاده رفتنه، حالا یا اینکه اون راه خاکیا بری تا بهش برسی، وگرنه راه دیگه نداره و کسی دیگه هم اصلا توش زندگی نمیکنه. یه خرابه ای ازش مونده و همینو بس. جالبه، دوست دارم من یه روزی برم. اوه اسب رد شده، خر رد شده، چی رد شده از اینجا. ولی خیلی جالبه که همچین جایی که اینقدر تاریخ داره همینجوری ول شده، هیچ اهمیتی بهش نمیدن. نمیدونم حالا چجوریه.
You see the old poles there?
Oh yeah.
They had telegraph lines.
Oh really? این تیر برق هم مال تلگراف بوده، خط تلگراف بوده، بعد میشوده. کاش اسبی چیزی داشتیم میشد میرفتیم. جن زده هم مثلا اونجا غروب مروب برسی چی دیگه، یه گروه باشی حال میده.